What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, our rig's been working really well. Both of our rigs here, we're down to what, 6 GPUs down here, as well as 12 up top. So we're coming along pretty good right now. You know, we've been kind of messing around with temps right now. It's actually 79 right now down here, which for a lot of you guys might be like, oh, that's awesome. But keep in mind, I work right there. So like sitting in 79 to 80 degrees it definitely gets rough. So we definitely have some things coming. The basement's progressing, not as fast as I wanted, but it's progressing. At the end of the month, we will be doing drywall, so I need to get my exhaust set up for this mining room figured out. We'll be going over that in a future video. So today, we got a few goodies in. I thought I'd go over some of them. So we got in 2 packs of the U-bit GPU risers. I feel like every time I get down to my last one, I'm always waiting for more risers to come in. So I ordered a few. I've been kind of messing between those and also the GPUrisers.com. I've been really having a lot of issues. Not sure if you guys have this issues, but all of my GPUrisers.com risers have started peeling. And based off of my reading, it is because they use like extra thick solders. And so like it doesn't stick all the way. And so it's like, okay, do you go with GPUrisers.com where the foam pad on the back will fall off because the solders are thicker, or do you go with like our U-bit ones where the pad doesn't fall off, but there's that chance of the solder not being as high quality? I don't know. Give me your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. I did get in some more HP 1200 watt power supplies. This one I had sitting around. This is the older model, which is the 750, which only has the 2468 6 pins on it. I picked these up because I've been seeing a trend where the price of these HP power supplies, the 1200 watt, if you're running 240 volt, has been going through the roof. I bought mine that we saw over here for 40 bucks plus $15 for the breakout board. The price of these is now $95. They have gone up more than double the price. And then of course we have, these have not, these are the $15 breakout boards, which are phenomenal and good to go. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pick up 2 of those and 2 of those because I have no clue where that price is gonna go from here. And of course I plan to build a 3rd rig here coming up in the near future. So I thought I might as well go ahead and nab those. This mess over here is a bunch of my Delta fans. I have a set of 5 and another set of 5 here. The guys at Misfit's Mining Chump Change over there sent me a bunch more clips, as well as their new clips that allow you to do a double row. So it's not just 5 across, you could do another 5 underneath, so you could do a total of 10 fans, which would be phenomenal. I was kind of looking at my setup over here and trying to see like how I could do that, because I actually went ahead and did some research. So the way the Sapphire Nitro cards work, if you guys aren't familiar with how they expel heat and bring in cool air, so these are actually intake fans. So they're blowing air in over top of the heat sink. Then the hot air is expelled down and the hot air is expelled off the back. So if I was to put my hand back in here, oh, that was weird, I could feel the air coming through and out. So now if you think about it, like card 1 is sucking in cool air, blowing it through right onto card 2, and then card 2 is doing the same thing and blowing it onto card 3, and then the 3rd card is blowing it completely out that way. So I was trying to figure out like how I go about doing this from an airflow perspective. So there's a few things I thought about. I thought about, do I come over here and unfortunately on this rack, this is a smaller rack. This isn't a rack I plan to use long term once I get this room built, but I could fit 2 fans. So I could do 2 and then 4, and I could probably squeeze in 2, 4, so I could probably put 4 fans over here that were blowing this way through the rack. I even thought like, can I hang 4 fans in the middle to blow continued air, or do I just put 4 more fans over here and then blow it out? So it's like we're blowing air through the rack and then pulling it through the rack. I don't know that there's a good avenue to go with this rack. I think once I get this room finished and I have the larger racks in here that will fill this whole spot, then I could really get all 10 fans in place to cool things off. So I'm going to think about that. If you guys have any suggestions, leave a comment down below. Would love to know your thoughts on how I can improve this airflow here. Outside of cable management, you know, where could I put the fans? I thought about even, you know, originally I had the fans out front here. And if I put the fans out front here, I actually want them to blow this way, right? Because then I'm pushing air through the whole rack. Because the air right now in the rack is literally going that way. Like all of these are going that way. So my thought is you'd almost build a wall. Like what if I did 10 total fans right here? 5 across and 5 across, and then just blew them all through. I don't have a ton of space here, but they would fit. I just would have to slide these in a little bit more. That's the nice things about these GPU hangers. And these are from the guys over at Misfit's Mining Guys. I'll put a link down below. You guys can check them out. They're getting a storefront set up, so that'll be something really cool coming down the pipeline for them. I always love supporting them. The GPUs are awesome, the GPU hangers. So maybe that's what we'll do. So in a future video, maybe we'll do 5 across and 5 across to make 10 total fans, blowing all the air that way. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if I'm insane or if I'm overlooking anything. So today what I'm going to do real quick, this is just a quick catch-up video, guys, is we're going to go ahead, and I have another one of these. You guys are going to laugh, but a PowerColor R9 380. This actually I bought at the same time as I bought that one down there. They came together. Now I believe this one actually has an issue with one of the fans. So we're going to get this sucker up and mining because there's no point in having a GPU just sitting around. And if one of the fans is bad, we'll order a new one today and get that in and get that, you know, ordered in. And then we'll do a video on replacing the fans, which I think would be great. The one thing I need to look at is these are the GPU hangers from Misfit's Mining. I think these are the second rendition, not the third rendition version of them. These don't work well with this older card because the DVI slots actually end up getting like you can't fit this perfectly on top. But what I found was I may have to turn off this rig and swap out one of the first original GPU hangers that they sent me, their first rendition, because that works. That's what I had to do with this other 380 and swap them around and be good to go. So let me go ahead and get this sucker all set up and good to go, hung and plugged in, and then we'll get this configured and see if we can get this mining. Right now it's mining Ethereum Classic, ETC, because when I put it on Ravencoin, it just runs way too hot. Anyways, guys, we'll be back in just a second. Okay, so it took a little bit of work, but we're good to go. We're finally at 6 GPUs currently right here on this rig. We have our 2 R9 380s. So look at this black and white cabling mess. So I traditionally like to run 1 6-pin to each of the risers and then the 6-pin to 8-pin whatever to the cards. Well, in order to make this work, I had to install the 6-pin to Y splitter, which is completely safe as long as you don't try to power 2 cards off of this. But if you want to do 2 risers, that's fine. So 1 6-pin plugged into the female end into our 2 males here. So what I did was there are 3 of these total now. One set, and 1 set, because there's just 6 total cards, and we have 3 of these in place. So that gave us enough 6-pin slots to power all of our GPUs as well as all of our risers. Now this is pretty much maxed out now. So if I do need, when I go ahead and add, I have a slot for 1 more card, I will need to go ahead and plug into another power supply as needed. But other than that, we're set and good to go. I had to get a little creative with our riser and put in actually a self-tapping little screw because there was a hole on the wall. It didn't work out the way I expected, but we're good to go now. Way to go. So let's go ahead and power this on, see what this additional card does. So we're going to power on our power supply first. You can see there is power running to our new card, which is awesome. We're going to come over here and turn on our power supply. and then use our handy dandy little HP power supply switch, power that on, and our board is powering up now. So now we're going to come over, turn on our monitor. And so the monitor is plugged into our 1060 6 gig card. And the reason we're running a monitor on this rig, if you guys haven't seen some of my past videos, is because of the fact that there's some really weird goofiness that occurs with this board. This is the Asus, or this is the ROG Strix B550. It's actually this board right here. And I have a past video where the actual Ethernet NIC becomes disabled on its own. You have to re-enable it. So in order to do that, you have to have video. So I do have video plugged into my 1060 here. So let's give it a minute and see what it does. Okay, so we are off to the races here. Thank goodness. Check it out. We have both of our 3080s are in here, and both the fans, all the fans are working. So the guy that sold me this said one of the fans didn't work. I don't know what to tell you, but we're lucky. Our fans are working. So I want to go in and make sure I went ahead and just like stopped all the miners. This rig is crazy, guys. That's why it's called Havoc. So this rig, if you take a look, it has one flight sheet with 1, 2, 3, 4 different miners running on this sucker. And to give you a reason why, let's take a look. Because it's made up of like a crazy amount of different cards. So we have a 580 in this card, 588 gigs. So that's mining Ethereum. We then have a 1060 NVIDIA card that's mining Ethereum, a 1650 that's mining Ravencoin, two 3080s that are mining Ethereum Classic, and then a 2080 that's also mining Ethereum. So the reason is the 1060 is NVIDIA is together mining with the 2080 NVIDIA. And then you have this 580 8 gig, which is mining AMD, mining Ethereum. So, and then we have Ravencoin. So it's like all over the place. So what I wanted to do was real quick was I wanted to stop all of the miners, and I wanted to go ahead and make sure that everything was configured correctly before I caused any harm anywhere, you know, with our setup here. So let me go ahead here and take a look. It looks like it actually did a really good job. So what it did was it actually copied my current 380 overclock settings and just mirrored them, which is great. Like, I'm really happy to see that. The only thing I think it doesn't have is my reference, which we want. It's Hynix memory, so we want this 30. So we have to add that in here. Okay, cool. So those are all mirror. It looks like it kept my 2080 overclock settings, and my 1650 look good. 1060. I'm just literally referencing a screenshot I made. So everything looks good. The only difference is I need to make sure I add this card. So because we have 4 different miners, every miner tries to grab every card unless you tell it otherwise. So I need to go into ETC, and I need to make sure that we're saying, so here I'll show you guys under flight sheet, under ETC, when I edit this and go into setup miner, you see how, look, I say only do dash device 1. We need to add in comma 2. So now it's grabbing GPU 1 and 2 for AMD cards because it's running off of Team Red Miner, which only does AMD. So if I go back here and we take a look together, you'll see, look, AMD cards 1 and cards 2. If I went to AMD card 0 and you go into our flight sheet, you'll see under ETH Miner, there we go. Now, granted, this is with ETH Miner, but OpenCL device 0. See how that GPU 0? So, I mean, this is how you really get it. Like, this is my most complicated rig. Sometimes I'm just surprised this sucker boots. I'm going to be honest with you. And I eventually want to get away from this. I eventually want to have enough rigs where, like, I can have... It is always best to have one miner per rig, if you can get away with that, and have all the same cards. Well, I'm the exception to that rule, honestly, because we do a little bit of everything. So everything is good to go. So my next step is I'm going to go ahead and reboot this rig. Instead of like turning my miners back on and stuff, we're just going to reboot the rig, let it naturally come up on its own, and see if we can get all of our cards mining. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, guys. Well, we have success. As you guys can see, both of our 3080s are currently mining right now. They're very similar in hash rate, will fluctuate a tiny bit, but they both are on Ethereum Classic. So this rig, in reality, I mean, it's crazy. 4 different miners, Ethereum, Ravencoin, Ethereum Classic, and we're going strong, which is exactly what we want. Took a three different reboots to get us back in. I did need to log in. So if any of you guys know, and maybe I should tee up HiveOS on this, if there's a way that you can do something like a startup script for HiveOS. I don't know if that's something that you can do within the commands up top or not. Like, I'd have to look deeper into it. If you can set like your own startup script so that I can go ahead and make this change to kind of shut and open the ETH0. But anyways, we're good to go, guys. We're off mining. We've increased our Ethereum Classic hash rate. Yes, I know it's only 19, but guess what? We got 2 3080s for dirt cheap. And you know what? We're going to let them mine on Ethereum Classic. And if something comes of it, awesome. Well, guys, thank you guys very much for joining me today for another video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. On a last note, guys, I am excited to say our farm is at 19 GPUs as of May 24th. Have a good one, guys.